Hundreds of activists gathered at the climate action camp in the border area between Bergen and Antwerp to carry out a non-violent blockade against coal, the dirtiest and most dangerous form of fossil fuel. To safeguard our own pro-existence, we need to develop an alternative for the existing world in the here and now and resist the existing powers in the way of an energy revolution. Prominent climate scientist Jim Hansen called for civil disobedience and a moratorium on the construction of coal-fired power plants. We turn word into action.
Death the capital!
If we are to live healthy, happy, sustainable lives, we need to change our way of living. This means not using more than our fair share of the global resources and not more than the earth can replace to sustain us. As countries constantly strive to produce more and more in competition with each other, we rely increasingly on limited resources like fossil fuels, dependencies that lead to lives lost in the pursuit of economic growth. Societies based on competition between individuals to own the most, spend the most and work the most are not sustainable.
We have the bridge.
I don't think we're going to all walk through here right now.
Hang on, we're not all walking. Stop, stop, stop. Just people who are going to work.
Bridge?
Yeah.
And then it's the bamboo.
Water.
Yeah, but I think if we put the one on top the reeds, they take it. I was walking on top. From here we have to put on.
Okay. Step on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, up. Can we have another strong person here, please?
Yep.
Okay, we need to lift up and get it as far as you can and then drop.
Is there a swamp underneath?
Yeah. Well, we'll get dirty. Yeah.
I don't mind.
We should try to get there.
Or yeah, maybe here the wood is not really important, you know. We can make breaks between the wood, you know.
No. Back. Take this back. Take it all back. We're going to have to go around the other way. Okay.
This way it's okay. Come on, let's get dirty. Let's get dirty. Yeah, of course. Let's go.
Can somebody else go to the front end and see if they can work it out?
Yeah, maybe let's make bigger breaks between the wood that we can longer way, you know. And we don't need wood here, you know. We can walk. We just get dirty shoes. That's no problem.
If the bridge is in the middle of the water, it will.
Let's try.
Another board and we go one by one.
But is it bad if our shoes get wet? We can go with the wet feet.
We can see.
Let's do it.
How deep is it?
Yeah, we can go. Everything is
People,
possible.
you're probably going to get your feet wet. Yeah?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Keep moving quite fast. I'm going to move out. You go.
Yeah, it's. I think the best idea if we go one by one that the all weight is not.
Yeah.
And don't stand on the cross of the... Come on, come on.
Don't
Right.
stand on the cross of the
Go.
bridge. Everybody remember.
Go. No, don't worry about the cross of the bridge at the moment.
As quicker you go, it's better
Okay.
for you.
Go fast.
And hold
One,
each other.
go. Go.
Yeah, just let's.
Hey, you just keep going. You wait.
Come, give me a hand.
Come right in.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm gonna go over.
You have to go quick. Hey, grass, more grass. We need more grass.
Keep the grass.
Be careful, it's hurt. Break it, not pull it. Break it, not pull it.
More grass here.
What?
The hole. Big jump.
I will, yeah. If we can stand here, you know, like, because I'm still doing too many things. do you have bandage or something? It's plaster is not enough, you know?
Not enough.
No.
Can I have a look at your window?
Main aims of the camp, I guess you could say. The first would be education, and so that's why we try and have like quite a broad range of workshops and different things happening in the program. Everything from kind of DIY stuff, teaching people how to, certain practical skills, or teaching about vegan cooking or what have you, and then. Along with that, you have direct action. Really, it's trying to be a kind of accessible space, but a space that pushes people to feel more comfortable and maybe cross boundaries and get involved in direct action, especially if they've never done that before. So really trying to make direct action accessible and make people understand why it's a good and important tactic. And along with that, the third kind of main aim, I guess you could say, is sustainable living, or kind of ideally carbon neutral living. So in everything that we do, we try and kind of do it in the most ecological way that is possible or feasible. And so therefore we put a big emphasis on things like the compost toilets and keeping our water consumption down, composting our food waste, cooking vegan at the site, organic as well. And experimenting with other kind of sustainable systems like rocket stoves or grey water systems. And then the final thing, and this is like one of the really big strengths of climate camps in my opinion, and having been involved in the camps in the UK and seeing some of the other places, that would be movement building. So using it as a kind of springing off point for further actions and further campaigns and further activities. It's not just about kind of what happens in this week, it's about trying to make connections and get people involved in the longer term. So both bringing new people in and also kind of making connections between people who are maybe doing similar things but in different places, and seeing how it all links up. So those are the kind of, for me, the main reasons and to be involved in a camp like this. Another aspect of the camp is kind of very important as well, is kind of the fact that it's completely self-organized, DIY, horizontal. So it's not like there's a group of organizers and they're in charge. When people come to the camp, they're meant to take responsibility for the camp as much as anybody who's been working on it beforehand. And that's, to me, is another important part of like showing how things could be different. So along with that goes kind of meetings, and the meetings we have on camp, first of all, are using consensus decision-making processes. So making sure that everybody has a voice and everybody's voice is heard equally. It's a way to avoid kind of a win-lose kind of situation, which is what happens so often with majority voting, and instead trying to come to creative solutions that everybody can agree on, and or if they don't, if it's might not be your first choice and your favorite choice, but because you've been included in that process and you've seen where the decision comes from, it, in my opinion, it creates decisions that that people are more likely to implement and get behind, and so things get done. Along with that, I mean, you know, the fact that it is self-organized means that we maybe do have more meetings than say a top-down structure would have. But again, like people are part of that, and people feel responsible and part of those decisions. So the way it worked on site is that we organized into neighborhoods. and the neighborhoods were based on different kinds of affinity or different reasoning. So some people might decide to have a barrio or a neighborhood with people that they live near. Other people might have an identity like feminist or queer. The neighborhood can empower them to take certain decisions, or they can serve more as a kind of information kind of conduit. Also, they're always recallable, so it's not like someone is the representative for the whole camp. You have people rotating through this role, and everybody kind of, again, is encouraged to take responsibility for maybe becoming a barrio representative at one meeting, or, you know, coming on behalf of a working group they've been getting involved in. And then finally you have plenary meetings where, especially for the things like the mass action are really important, to have everybody in the room at once and kind of thinking these things through together. And it can be really empowering to see hundreds of people kind of in one place coming to agreements and making plans on something like that. So that's the basic structure, I think.
This is the narrowest point.
Okay, let's have a huddle on. Talk a little bit. Yeah. Okay, quickly go in a circle. Going to stay together.
Yeah, are we blocking this one also?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do a huddle.
Okay.
So, is everybody all right? Anybody need quick attention? Okay. So, who is going to facilitate this quick decision?
Do it.
I will facilitate. Okay. So, as far as I know, the proposal is that we try to stay here blocking these 3 railways, which maybe I suggest we do in 3 groups, and try to stay here. We have a police speaker that is gonna try to calm the police down and be as a buffer for us, and then we can start to do that. And if you have other proposals that is not compatible with this one, say it now. Otherwise, we can start as soon as possible to block, and then, all right.
Let's do it just beyond the switch.
There's a proposal to do it after this switching thing.
Behind that switch and then on that switch.
Okay.
What's the reason?
It seems to be more narrow than over here. Less people needed.
Yeah, that's good reason.
What do we think?
Is everybody okay with this proposal?
Yeah.
Press is on its way. Police speaker is escorting press to this point.
Okay.
Other police speaker.
And we have a press speaker here right now? Do we have a press speaker yet? How can we deal with this situation? Maybe somebody feels like talking with the press? Okay, if there's nobody,
I can do it.
De pers komt naar hier, maar we hebben geen pers.
I can do it together with you. Just summarizing very quickly, the proposal, the arrangement we made is that we are going to stand over there in 3 groups and stay there. We have a police speaker and a press speaker, and then if something shows up, we can again try to have a quick decision process. Is that right? Is everybody okay with this decision? No blocks? Okay, let's move.
Everyone who's been involved in the kind of preparation process for the camp is involved in a number of different working groups, because there have been very few of us involved in the camp, and so there's working groups like logistics, meetings and facilitation, outreach, media, and then within the logistics group there's lots of smaller working groups within that. Other working groups, there were the kitchen who came along and fed everyone. There was the working group who set up the toilets, the group who set up the sink. There was a group who collected tools and organised the tools. There was a meetings and facilitation group that planned the agenda for meetings and structured the plenary meetings, structured the big discussions in a way that would most effectively bring out different people's ideas and different problems and solutions, and come to decisions that everybody could be happy with. There was the media working group that put out press releases every day and did lots of interviews via telephone and for TV and for radio and newspapers, and escorted journalists around the site to show them the different parts of the site and that kind of thing. And so we've had workshops here ranging from things as simple as the science of climate change, the most updated science, so people know what the situation is. We've had workshops and discussions about what's at stake in Copenhagen at the COP15 United Nations conference that's coming up in December. We've had rocket stove making workshops, grey water, how to build a grey water system. So everything from kind of the political and economic, scientific, practical skills, sustainable living. There's been a whole range of workshops and debates.
For the kitchen energy, the beamers, everything that uses electricity here. The pedal, the windmill over there.
Yeah.
And the solar panels.
It's a do-it-yourself, self-made windmill generator. And then there are two tandems connected to it. So now if you bike with one, you can do 50 watts, but altogether you can do 200 watts easily, and peak maybe 700 watts. And it goes straight into the battery bank we have here, and it's all getting together in the battery bank. From there we transform it to 220 again, and give it long distances to the tents and the kitchen and whatever. Nowadays electronics are about 90% efficient, and this is because of the windmill generator. It's also one of the best ways of getting movement into electricity, so it's quite efficient as well. Yes. We have about electricity for normally 1 or 2 households, and it's, a household is in the average 400 watts, but we use only half a household, and of course there's not always sun, there's not always wind, so well we have enough energy now this way. You try things out, and this is one of the experiments we are making.
That means the pedal power is the better one.
It's the best. And all together we pedal 800 watt hours, so 1 hour of 800 watts.
Okay.
So that's all together what we put in the battery. The entire. So that's not really much. It's enough for charging the cell phones and the night lights. So that's quite good.
When you go on action, you can deal with police violence, and people got smashed, and then we can take care of them. We can see if we can treat them ourselves, or we have to send them to a doctor or to a hospital. At least they get the right medical attention what they need. Basically what we deal here is like on the campsite we have our base, that's the medic tent, but when people go out for action they go on the street, and we try to let medic teams go with them. So for the future I would say, like, always take care of your own body, be aware, try to get enough sleep or as much as possible. Think of your hygiene so you won't affect other people, and always, if you go on street doing action, always have like a small kit. Take enough water with you when you go on the street, especially when it's hot weather, and prepare on the weather. Like if it's hot, wear sunscreen. If it's rainy, wear rain clothing, stuff like that, so you have a better condition to do the action and you won't get exhausted by the circumstances. Take food, take water, maybe take an isolation blanket with you or stuff like that, or maybe a very small medical kit so you could have your own plasters and you don't need a medic team for all small stuff. And it would be nice if even that would become a do-it-yourself kind of thing. But I think the awareness of taking care of your own body is really important if you go in action.
There's a whole fuss about climate change, and one of the main reasons why this climate is changing, one of the main factors CO2 extraction into the air is mainly the fact of meat production and meat industry and meat transport. Because just to feed a bunch of cows or a bunch of pigs, you need a whole lot of more space just to grow the food they will eat. And to grow this food, mostly it is grown in countries where the cost is very low, like in Brazil or in some places where they cut the rainforest, which would absorb a lot of CO2. And as doing so, that's actually twice a loss for the climate. First time they get a lot of carbon into the air by cutting the forest, and secondly they're just growing stuff there that's only the soil is not very fertile, so only for a few years it will grow soy, then they have to move to another piece, and still the soil is then shipped or exported back to the western countries where it is mixed and given to the animals for feed. So it really enlarges our impact on climate. When many experts have already shown that we really need to do something, it's really important that we start changing the way we act on our environment. And eating less meat, or if only better, eating no meat, is a really effective measure in this.
Vegetarianism will climate change for better. Vegetarianism will feed third world countries. Vegetarianism will save animals. Vegetarianism will get your body healthy, will give you energy, will get your spirit healthy, will get your body healthy.
Agriculture is also one of the main causes of climate change, and agriculture is often forgotten. It's more important altogether than all the traffic and transport together. And from this agriculture is actually mainly the production of meat and dairy products that are contributing to climate change. And for this reason we closed the meat department of the supermarket. We put some lines in front of it, some signs, we had a big banner just to tell people not to take the meat this time. We are actually not physically stopping them to do it, because we want to have communication with them, we want to try to convince them, to give them information, discussion, so that works better if we just don't push them or piss them off. But towards the supermarkets we had the message like it's not good, it's not fair, it's not ethical to promote and sell all those meat products if you know that this is causing so much climate change. The action went quite well. Half of the group went inside to close off this department. The other half stayed outside to inform more public in the streets, in the shopping mall. And the supermarket was actually quite relaxed. They had this calculation like, oh, we prefer you to stay there for half an hour with your leaflets and your lines to close the meat parts. We have rather this than that we have police and troubles and more activists and fights inside. But then the police came, and the police was not so relaxed. They were really strict. They had the duty to do, they had the job, and they wanted to get rid of all the activists. First they moved people outside to the street, not in the shopping mall, and afterwards they went inside to tell us that we really had to leave. But the funny thing was that we had actually we told them no, we had to deal with the manager, and the manager said we are going to stay here for half an hour. And no, you have to go. We have here the manager, and the manager tells us that you have to go. And then the manager said, no, actually they're right. You can stay for 15 more minutes. And then the police was like, oh, okay, shit. We spread all the leaflets. We have handed out vegan food to tell people, to show people that it's actually, you can have nice food without having meat in it. So it was a good action.
We notice that with the oil prices, that sometimes with peak oil, that is coming closer and closer, so the fact that at a certain point our energy addiction will not longer be possibly satisfied by the oil, that there is more and more investments again, not only in nuclear energy but also a lot in coal energy. We all know that coal energy and coal production is just a total nightmare towards climate change, but still the economic powers are big enough to do their investments. We want to do this action specifically in a very open manner, so that we can really show to the general public that this is at this point perhaps the only way that we can truly try to stop climate change, because a lot of us have already tried to do it in all kinds of legal ways, but we feel left alone, totally left alone by government, by politics, by bureaucracy. So this way of direct action and direct blocking it seems for us the only way of doing it, and we really want to inspire other people to follow this example and just physically stop this transport, stop this machine, stop this coal machine. What did we achieve today? At least we had a lot of press coverage, and I'm quite certain that it's going to be in a positive way. We also felt a lot of support, for example, of the police, the very local police officers of Berendrecht, who also know that if in this coal terminal there's also a coal central that is starting, this will be a total nightmare for their children, for the health of their children, in a very direct way. So I don't know in which effect we will have. We will not only have mainstream press coverage, but we also hope that indie coverage, independent coverage, will spread the message that we cannot afford to wait for politics to solve this problem. We have to solve it ourselves.
Dit is de plaswc. Hier mag je dus niet roepen. Wc-papier moet dus ook in een vuilnisbakje, een emmer. Hier mag alleen plas, want dat gaat gewoon naar het zand. Hier mag je wel wc-papier, hier mag je niet plassen. En nadat je het hebt gebruikt moet je dit korrels er overheen doen. Niet te veel, want anders doe je open. Er zit een klein vuilniszakje in en daar, als het helemaal vol is, dan wordt het opgeruimd gewoon.
We are now going to the village of Berendrecht with many children and some inhabitants of the camp to spread flyers and information about the action of tomorrow. Tomorrow many activists will try to block the coal stocking place, which is located a bit further here, and we're going to try to invite the inhabitants of the village so that maybe they want to join us tomorrow. We're going to do this with the children, to do it in a very non-violent and peaceful way, and it's a good way for us to show it. I think they are the first victims of this thing, which is a heavy polluting stockage place. And from what we heard, there are quite a lot of people here who are very upset about this place. And it's also important for us to have a good relationship with the neighborhood. Obviously, they should be with us. We will have a kids demonstration, but not only the kids, but everyone who wants to join the day of action in a non-confrontational way is free to join us. So we have made banners, we have music instruments that we've made, and quite a lot of things. So I think it's going to be fun tomorrow.
Ik lust het steeds. We zijn door, lekker.
The direct action, which was incredibly successful. We shut down the Antwerp bulk terminal for an entire day. They shut down operations there. There's 70,000 tons of coal comes in and out of there every single day. It's shipped in from South Africa, it's shipped in from Colombia, and it's then put onto trains which transport it around Europe, or smaller ships that go to the UK. And
I think activism is a really nice way of spending vacation. It's a really good thing to openly talk with people about your ideals and your values, and these are people who are actively thinking, who are actively concerned not only about their own future but also the future of their children. My children are maybe here not directly involved with the dust clouds of the coal, but in the same way they are involved. I live maybe 60 kilometers further, but climate change is a worry we all should have. And it is not only climate change. For me, that's really important, that climate change is just one symptom of capitalist thinking that is destroying everything. It's not only destroying the climate, it's destroying all life on Earth. It's just selling it all and using it all for short-time profit.
This is an action against the Lange Wapper, which is a huge bridge above the city of Antwerp, which will have huge ecological effects. And one of the effects is that the forest behind us will disappear. So they will make a tunnel behind me, and this, the woods will be cut down to make this tunnel and bridge. At the place where the bridge will be built, it's a rather poor neighborhood in Antwerp. And there are several, like for instance, institutes with children who have problems with their lungs, who are situated just below this bridge or where it is planned. And so they are also very much involved in this protest because, of course, when tens of thousands of cars will pass there each day, this will be very detrimental to their health as well. What the government wants to do is to solve the traffic problem by creating more roads. And what we say is we have to solve the traffic problem by having less traffic, having more people on bikes or public transport, etc. So less cars, less lorries, trucks, etc. And so there is a huge support amongst the Antwerp population against this project of the bridge and the tunnel. And some action groups have done massive campaigns and were able to collect more than 60,000 signatures. So there will be a referendum where the whole of Antwerp population will have its say on whether this bridge will come there or not. And there is a real chance that the movements will win this struggle. So this is a really important ecological and social struggle here in Antwerp. For us, the goal is, of course, in the first place to stop this project and give a clear sign to governments and big companies that the people in Antwerp and surroundings don't want more traffic, but want their city to be organized in a different way. And I think if we can win this struggle, this is a very important step in building a movement and a struggle against the way cities are built today, the way traffic is organized, the way the system, the capitalist system, deals with transport and mobility, etc.
I think direct action is a really empowering thing, and it's a really important kind of democratic right to exercise, I suppose. I mean, you've got a situation where the earth is literally kind of burning, and you've got kind of governments and corporations who are happy to keep seeing that happen whilst profiting or you know, continuing on benefiting from this kind of business as usual scenario. And this is all happening under the guise of democratic participation, when in fact, you know, I think none of us have asked for this, and so it's so plain to see for most normal people that this isn't what should be going on. And so instead of, you know, filling out petitions, going, you know, asking really nice for someone to do something, this is taking control into your own hands and showing that it's not okay. And I think especially with an issue, I mean, I think direct action is always a valid tactic, but especially with an issue like this, which is, you know, quite an urgent thing, it's really important for people to feel empowered and show and stop things when it needs to be stopped.
I think it's very important for me to teach my children that the way human beings are dealing with the planet right now is not sustainable in any way, and that we have to change the way we live. That's what we try to do in our daily life, and taking part in such a camp is a good way to make the children know more about the dangers of climate change, about how we could live in a different way in the future. I'm worried about my future, but even more about their future. I'm afraid that the planets that we are going to leave them will not be livable. They won't be able to live in it. Or maybe if they can live in it, their children won't be able to live in it, because we're just destroying the whole planet, basically. We have to change our way of life. I mean, everyone on a very individual level, but also the way we organize society together. We have to drastically diminish the way we deal with energy. We have to live with much less energy. We have to live, I don't know, I think we should all stop eating meat.
This camp is a response to climate change and to the way that governments and corporations are not dealing with the problem at all. So it's time now. The situation really demands that people who recognise the problem stand up and take action and do something about it, because those people who we have put our trust in to do something are not doing anything.
I think a message that is really important is that the climate struggle is a total struggle. We cannot say that climate struggle is a struggle that stands next to and apart from the struggle against sexism, the struggle against capitalist exploitation, and so on and so on and so on. This is one of the symptoms of a capitalist system that is going very, very bad, and that is leading us to disaster, and we still can't stop it. We have to stop it.
Bienvenue dans le Yavastaland, un pays merveilleux et spectaculaire, puisqu'on utilise une boisson brevetée par tous nos amis les liberteurs. Dans la plupart des chansons, on nous joue sur les boissons, du gars posé dans une réçoire, de la dernière cuite du mois. Qu'un cocktail qui passe l'affaire. Donc quelques éléments composent maintenant, rappel s'impose, on place en fond un peu de sable, un bout de tissu inflammable, de l'essence en grande quantité, de l'huile pour le faire durer, de l'engrais pour une explosion. Et voici rempli d'ambition. Cocktail molotov pour public explosé. 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 Dans une manif y'a rien d'hôtel, autour le son sur un cocktail. Ce petit mur de prix de verre. Faut qu'on en ait plein.
Let's go back.
But it's like no use. You cannot go back without them.
For sure.
Go.
Dans nos rêves, calcinant ainsi le quai des orfèvres.
I think it went amazingly well. I mean, this is the first time that there's been a camp like this here, and for a lot of people, it's the first time they've been involved in the tasks they took on. It's been really amazing to see people who, for example, like never thought of how to build a compost toilet in their life, just like really learn how to do that and take on that role and start coordinating something, for example. It was quite, I think we had a really great diversity of people here, and to see everybody kind of working together, people that had never met before, come from quite different backgrounds, but still really getting along and making things work on the site, and really kind of picking up this kind of attitude or method of kind of doing it themselves and taking responsibility, and everybody feeling like they're part of the camp. And also the fact that the mass action actually was successful. I mean, I think that's pretty great. That doesn't always happen with events like these. So, yeah, I think it was really good.
Clear Lobby is supporting this group that's protesting against coal, because coal is dirty and dusty, and nuclear power is safe, clean, sustainable, and very good. So we say okay for these activists that are protesting against the coal, because that's exactly what we want. That everybody is afraid of climate change, and that they say, okay, then we need nuclear power, because coal is dirty. Yes, you can see the coal is very dirty and black, it's very bad. So therefore we are supporting this group and we offer them a stay in a hotel and a shower from the nuclear lobby and dinner. Hooray for the activists! Yes!
Climate camp will be again in Belgium or the Netherlands, and it will be triple the people we have now. All the people who are here now will come together again next year, I think, and they'll bring along friends.